It's Mike Brennan, and we revived our ITC energy reports. Doing a great one here, a great story that we want to share with everybody. Let me give you a little background first. Between March 28th and 30th, northern and parts of south central Michigan faced ice and windstorms that caused widespread electricity disruptions. ITC Michigan was recognized with an Edison Electric Institute Emergency Response Award for its recovery and assistance effort. Brenda Houtz, Vice President of Operations for ITC, joins us to discuss the storm, the award, the recovery efforts, and the importance of strengthening the grid to prepare for extreme weather in the future. So, Brenda, thanks for joining us today. Before we start, could you tell us a little bit about ITC?
Right. Well, thanks first off for having us here today. Appreciate that. So think about the power grid in three parts. First off, it starts at the power plant. It might be a renewable power plant, solar, wind, or it might be a gas turbine that generates electricity. But then you need to move it over these long voltage lines, the steel towers, those kind of things, because electricity you get may not be near your home. So it runs across those long transmission lines and then finally drops off the smaller distribution lines that feeds our homes and buildings in our communities. And ITC is a transmission line company and the nation's largest electric transmission company. And unlike other local power companies, we're totally unique in that we just operate the transmission system. So we develop, build, and maintain transmission infrastructures in that portion of the three-part system. And we take care of about 9,100 miles, circuit miles of transmission line just in the Michigan Lower Peninsula. And my team in operations takes care, we operate safely and reliably the ITC transmission system.
All right. So thanks, Brenda. I understand ITC was recently named an Edison Electric Institute Emergency Response Award recipient. Can you tell us about that award?
Yeah, I'll be glad to. We're very proud of it, Mike. And first off, I think the viewers have to understand who Edison Electric Institute is, EEI. And really, it's an association that represents all U.S. investor-owned electric utilities, but also over 50 international companies. The EEI Emergency Response Reward is presented to members twice a year. The award recognizes recovery and assistance efforts of electric companies during these disruptions that we have from extreme weather events like we did up north and other natural events. I know ITC was recognizing this award from this ice event that we just had in south central and northern Michigan on the 28th and 30th of the year. And during the storm, severe ice accumulated, triggering widespread power outages. And then, of course, then on March 30th, some winds came through that struck up about 9 tornadoes and basically inflicted kind of the worst damage that ITC has seen in their infrastructure in both those regions in quite some time.
All right. Can you give me an idea of how much damage the storm caused? You're sort of describing it, but could you go into a bit more detail?
Yeah. So to really understand fully, the damage was pretty significant to our transmission lines. Like I said, it was the worst in ITC history. We had 23 transmission lines impacted and 17 substations. Our crews had to repair 16 broken poles, 3 cross arms, a lot of conductor down, 20 sites that we had to repair, and debris was had to be cleared from 28 locations. And this is so to put it in more perspective, it was over 270 miles of our transmission lines that we had to do this work on.
Amazing. Okay. And I understand that there was a lot of challenges for the ITC crews as well responding to this storm damage. Can you discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, I remember calling my boss when this all started, and I said, "This is the storm that keeps giving." Thunderstorms, tornadoes, they pass through, they leave damage, right? We go in, we pick it up, and we put our customers back on. In this case, there's continual impact to the utility lines. As the wind blows, the temperature changes, the ice does different things as it's going on and off the lines. It doesn't take long to realize that the conditions were getting worse than expected. That was pretty apparent. There was multiple instances where the teams would fix one portion of the line, and then another piece of ice would come down, breaking a tree branch or something and falling and causing more damage. Over 5 days is what we worked. We worked with the local distribution companies, also the Michigan State Emergency Operations Center for communication and logistics. And our crews worked around the clocks in hazardous conditions. Imagine not knowing where a road was because all the trees had fallen over on them. But very difficult terrain for service restoration. But our ultimate goal was get everybody back on as quickly as possible.
All right. Well, the Edison Electric Institute Award highlights ITC's effectiveness in its response to the storm, but is there anything the company learned from dealing with the aftermath?
Yeah, absolutely. How would you not from a storm like this? And that storm swept through Michigan. It served as a true stress test for the critical infrastructure, the transmission system. And what happened over a few days caused more than a year's worth of outages in our ITC Michigan system. So, over the last 20 years, ITC has put a lot into our electric infrastructure in Michigan, and that truly paid off in rebuilding that portion of 138 kV lines in the northern Michigan. It really held strong during the storm, and the pieces that we repaired were actually the portions that we had not gotten to yet. But this event, like others, reaffirms the need to modernize the grid and invest in it as we go forward so we can prepare for these weather events that are coming next.
All right. So, last question. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah. So, Mike, I've been going around to a lot of the safety meetings, really talking to the crews, their appreciation for what they did. I mean, they were literally weathering the storm out there to get the flow of the power back to the homes and the communities. So, want to make sure they hear my appreciation of their unwavering commitment to doing that. I also want to talk about the folks behind the scenes, the teams like the engineering teams, the control rooms that coordinated the repairs, the logistics, invaluable communication and direction that they provided to separate our resources and make sure they were working most efficiently during this storm. Our resilience is really true how much we use electricity in our communities, our home, how much we rely on it. I was just talking to my neighbors about how important it is last night in an event that we had. But we are proud to have swiftly and comprehensively responded and been able to work with our counterparts to get the team to get the power back to our communities. Our teams understand that we just don't bring power to our homes, Mike. They understand we bring a quality of life. And anybody that would like to know more about ITC, I'd encourage them to go to ITC Michigan.com to learn more about us.
All right, a little background on you so the audience understands how you fit into the big picture. Brenda Houtz is Vice President Operations for ITC Holdings Corp. In this role, she has responsibility for control room and systems operations that support ITC's four operating companies and is the company's NERC Compliance Officer, NERC. Ms. Holtz previously served as Director of Real-Time Operations at ITC. She has over 20 years of experience in the utility industry. Prior to joining ITC in 2023, she was Executive Director Operations for Consumers Energy. Her background includes vast experience with operations, NERC compliance, and the field operations at Consumers Energy and AEP. Ms. Holtz currently serves on the NERC Regional Entity Midwest Reliability Organization Board of Directors. She earned a Bachelor of Business Administration from Huntington University and a Master of Business Administration in Strategic Leadership from Spring Arbor University. She is a NERC Certified System Operator Reliability Coordinator. And thanks for joining us on the show today.